a sudden sneeze in bright sunlight, an ill-timed hiccup, an unexplained eyelid twitch, or that pins and needles sensation on your skin. Strange things are constantly happening in our bodies, and we rarely stop to think about why. In this video, we're going to explore these odd, momentary reactions of the body and find out what's really behind them. Hiccups. Imagine you're sitting in the middle of an important meeting. Everything is calm, everyone is quiet, and suddenly, with the sound of hic, all eyes turn toward you. Instant embarrassment. Hiccups are actually a sudden spasm or contraction of the diaphragm, the muscle located just below the lungs. Right after that, the vocal cords snap shut, and that's what produces the hiccup sound. Eating too quickly, drinking carbonated beverages, or a sudden temperature change can trigger hiccups, but many times they happen for no clear reason at all. The brain sends a faulty signal, the diaphragm reacts immediately, and there you have it, one of the most common momentary glitches of the human body. Brain freeze. It's a hot day and suddenly you feel like taking a huge bite of ice cream. Out of nowhere, it feels like your whole brain freezes and a strange pain shoots through your head. But why does this happen? When something very cold comes into contact with the roof of your mouth, the blood vessels in that area rapidly constrict and then expand again. This sudden change confuses the brain, causing it to think the pain is coming from your forehead rather than your mouth. It's a simple mix-up in how the brain processes sensory signals. Shivering. When you feel cold, your body starts to shiver to produce heat. These rapid muscle contractions are meant to warm you up, but what's interesting is that the same thing can happen when you're scared, anxious, or excited, so it's not just about cold. This reaction is caused by an overactivation of the nervous system. The body senses that something is off, and without fully understanding the real reason, automatically switches on its defense mechanism. Pins and needles. You've probably experienced this. After sitting on your legs for a long time or sleeping on one arm, you suddenly feel that your arm or leg has gone numb, and when you touch it, you feel a pins and needles sensation. This feeling is called paresthesia. It happens when pressure on a limb reduces blood flow or compresses a nerve in that area. As a result, a flood of distorted signals is sent to the brain, which gets confused and momentarily forgets what that body part is. Afterward, the nervous system needs a little time to reset and bring everything back to normal. Goosebumps. A piece of music, a powerful scene from a movie, a frightening moment, or even cold air can suddenly make your skin ripple with bumps and cause your body hair to stand on end. This reaction comes from the sympathetic nervous system, which triggers tiny muscles at the base of each hair follicle to contract, pushing the hairs upright. In reality, the brain sends signals to these small muscles in a fraction of a second, without you consciously thinking about it, and they react immediately. It's a reflex that activates even in situations where it isn't particularly necessary anymore. Motion sickness. You're on a bus or a train, scrolling on your phone, when suddenly an unpleasant feeling hits your head and stomach, and you start to feel nauseous. This is called motion sickness, and it happens when your nervous system can't figure out what's actually going on. Your inner ear senses movement and acceleration, but your eyes, fixed on your phone, report that you're completely still. The brain tries to make sense of this contradiction and fails, so it assumes something is wrong, like poisoning or hallucination. As a result, it activates the nausea response, leading to dizziness, cold sweats, and sometimes even vomiting. It's a defensive mechanism that isn't really necessary anymore, triggered simply by a disagreement between the eyes and the inner ear, pushing the body into full alert mode for no good reason. Teeth chattering. When you feel cold, your teeth start to chatter. This is a form of jaw muscle shivering meant to generate heat, very similar to the way the rest of the body shivers in cold conditions. But this doesn't happen only because of cold. Strong emotions, fear, or anxiety can trigger the same reaction as well. In reality, the sympathetic nervous system doesn't always distinguish between physical cold and mental stress, so it sends out a similar command to activate the body's response. Ear popping. You've probably experienced this when you're going up in an airplane or in an elevator and suddenly your ears pop. This happens because of a structure in your ear called the eustachian tube, which is trying to equalize the pressure inside the middle ear with the surrounding environment. If the pressure adjustment doesn't happen quickly enough, you may feel a sense of fullness in your ears or a sudden popping sensation as they open again. Jaw popping or clicking. Have you ever noticed that when you open your mouth, your jaw makes a cracking or popping sound, kind of like cracking a knuckle? This sound is usually caused by a small mechanical issue in the jaw joint. If the disc inside this joint shifts out of place or becomes inflamed, the jaw can start making noises, like a faulty hinge. For some people, this happens without any pain at all, while for others, it can be uncomfortable or even bothersome. Stomach drop. That weird drop feeling in your stomach when you ride an elevator or a fast roller coaster happens because your body moves quickly, but your internal organs take a split second to catch up. The brain senses this tiny delay and triggers an unusual digestive reaction. Don't worry, there's no real danger. It's just a little motion glitch in your body. Ear ringing. Have you ever noticed a low or high-pitched ringing or hissing sound in your ears, even when everything around you is silent? This phenomenon is called tinnitus, which usually develops over time due to exposure to loud noises, aging, or stress. These sounds aren't coming from the outside world. The brain generates them on its own. Essentially, your auditory system starts producing noise when there is none, as if the brain doesn't like complete silence and decides to create sounds it wants to hear. Skin crawling sensation. You've probably experienced that sudden feeling that something is crawling on your skin, even though there's nothing there. This is called formication, which is actually a misfiring in the nervous system. Stress, fatigue, or neurological changes can trigger it. The brain receives a signal from your skin that it can't interpret, so it turns it into a sensation of tiny crawling or tingling. It might feel a bit strange or even creepy, but it's completely harmless. There's nothing to worry about. Eye floaters. We've all experienced it. When looking at bright areas or the sky, you notice tiny spots or translucent lines drifting across your vision. These are called eye floaters, tiny collagen particles floating in the eye's vitreous fluid that cast shadows on the retina as light passes through. They're completely harmless, but because they move with your eyes, it can feel like your vision is acting up, even though it isn't. Eye twitching. One of those annoying little things that's hard to ignore is an eyelid twitch. It's caused by small, involuntary contractions of the eyelid muscles, often triggered by fatigue, stress, or too much caffeine. It's as if the facial muscles are short-circuiting from overwork. It's not painful, but it's the body's way of reacting to excessive strain, and it usually goes away after a while. Leg cramps. Ever wake up in the middle of the night, stretch, and suddenly feel your calf lock up with a sharp pain shooting through your leg? This is a sudden muscle cramp, most often occurring in the legs, and can be caused by dehydration, electrolyte imbalances, or overuse. Sometimes it just happens for no obvious reason at all. The muscle receives a nerve signal and won't let go. The neural connection keeps it locked. All you can do is gently massage it or wait for it to release on its own. Muscle twitches. Have you ever noticed a part of your arm or leg twitching for no reason? These tiny, sudden muscle contractions are completely involuntary and usually happen due to fatigue, dehydration, or stress. It's as if the muscle is sending out an emergency SOS signal, but no one's there to respond. These twitches aren't dangerous. They're a clear sign that the nervous system sometimes sends out random, mistaken signals. Photic sneeze reflex. You step outside from your home or office, and the moment you're in bright sunlight, you start to sneeze. This is called the photic sneeze reflex, and about 20 to 30% of people experience it. It happens because the optic nerve and the trigeminal nerve are very close to each other. Due to this neural overlap, when bright light stimulates your eyes, the brain gets confused and accidentally triggers the sneeze reflex.
Thanks for sticking with us until the end of the video. Drop a comment and let us know which of these glitches you've experienced. If you enjoyed the video, share it with your friends. And don't forget, subscribing helps us make even more and better videos. See you next time.